Welcome to episode 318 of the Postal Hub podcast. I'm Ian Kerr. Joining me in a moment is Anne Snitko, University of Berkeley researcher and the Chief Product Development Officer at Omnic. And we're going to be talking about parcel lockers and reducing emissions in the last mile. A conversation I'm sure many of you will be very interested to hear. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Omnic, who will be at Parcel and Post Expo later this month. Make sure you keep an eye out for them if you're going to Parcel and Post Expo in Amsterdam towards the end of October. Right, enough of that. Let's get into the discussion with Anne Snitko, Chief Product Development Officer at Omnic. Joining me on the line is Anne Snitko. Anne is Chief Product Development Officer at Omnic. Welcome back, Anne. Let's look towards environmental matters today. The European Green Deal, which is aiming to make Europe the first climate-neutral continent, that's a fair topic of discussion at the moment. And how do parcel lockers fit into this idea, this vision, shall we say?
Thank you, Jan. It's great to be here today again. Reducing carbon emission from transportation is one of the key aspects of the Green Deal, and parcel lockers have been suggested as potential solution to this challenge, because the idea is that by centralizing delivery points, we can optimize delivery routes and reduce the number of individual trips made by the vehicles. And according to the research, one parcel locker can reduce 13.8 kilograms of CO2 emissions per year, which is equal to purifying the air with 2,700 trees. So parcel locker networks are a promising solution. And what is the cooler thing about parcel locker is that this solution can be implemented right now, because it's so much closer than large-scale projects such as full transition to renewable energy or replacing internal combustion engines with fully electric vehicles. So I cannot think of more suitable solution to solve this issue right here and right now.
That's a really interesting point, Anne, about the fact that parcel lockers as a solution are available right now. They're available. It's a tried and tested, I suppose, technology, still evolving naturally, but there's been concerns and research done into the modes of transport that consumers use to collect their parcels. So in other words, if we're delivering to a parcel locker, then somebody might get in their car to pick up their parcel, which could have the adverse impact of increasing either emissions or traffic congestion or things like that. So what can be done about this?
That's a valid concern, Jan, and we have considered this risk, and here is our mitigation. The efficiency of parcel locker network is based on a couple of factors. Like first is density, which is the number of parcel lockers in the area. If there is one parcel locker per 1 square kilometer, it will force people to drive to it. While when we have parcel locker within walking distance, we will enable people behavior to walk instead of driving. So several studies have shown that an optimal walking distance is from 200 meters to 750 meters, which prevents people from using their cars. And another important thing is a load capacity issue. It also affects this metric of CO2 emission we are talking about, because if we have one parcel locker and 15 carriers, each delivering like 10 parcels to it, it's still huge pollution, comparing when we can have one carrier delivering all 150 parcels in one go and have much less carbon footprint. So this leads us to our main goal, to build a culture of using parcel locker both by businesses and customers. And the greatest thing that they will definitely discover plenty of benefits. For businesses, it's cost reduction, rise of reputation, sustainable growth. through open networks and competition. And for consumers, we will get the ultimate customer experience. We will save time, reduce stress by using a wider range of services through one self-service point. So therefore, efficiency of parcel lockers is really a complex task, but we believe that it's doable.
Indeed, the efficiency of delivery as a whole can be quite complex. Probably beyond the scope of our conversation today, but something we as an industry need to keep talking about. So you've raised some really, really interesting points there about the things like proximity to people's homes, number of carriers that deliver to the parcel lockers, things like that. Let's talk about the involvement of companies and businesses on that side of things. How can they contribute to reducing CO2 emissions through parcel locker networks?
The important thing here is to understand that one swallow doesn't make a summer. However, if most companies open up to collaboration, we will make a leap in the efficiency of parcel locker networks. Because to build a big closed network without the sufficient load in it is a problem, while to build a big closed network with good capacity is a great business. However, the experience shows there are not too many that can afford it, even in terms of operational processes. So the companies should be just conscious about their choice, because inefficient parcel networks turn into environmentally inefficient businesses. And we see that there are more and more companies that are switching from closed to open networks, which we see as a good signs. On top of that, we truly believe that efficiency is not only about last mile delivery. It should start from the bottom of the supply chain. We're proud to be one of those who started promoting these ideas on sustainable parcel locker network and haven't compromised this approach. By the way, in 2014 at Post Expo, where I presented this idea, most of the visitors were really skeptical about it. And today it's a trend, and we eager share our expertise and with companies how to reach this efficiency. And what is more important today when we are talking about supply chain in our product, we are really proud to be the first and the only one so far who have a carbon-free production facility. So for us, taking care of the planet starts long before the delivery of parcel lockers. So it starts from our plant. And this is where we start not only caring about our product, but also about the planet.
And it's fantastic. A carbon-free production of parcel lockers is quite an advanced step, especially when postal and parcel operators are reporting more and more deeply about their own emissions, their carbon footprint, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let's turn to consumers, though, because consumer behaviour must surely affect the last mile's carbon footprint, never mind the fact that it's consumers who are buying this stuff that we are then delivering. So tell us a bit about consumer behaviour and how that also fits in with parcel lockers and things like that.
Surely. My favorite example about this topic is instant delivery. So at some point, we as an industry have provided this service as a must-have. But let's face the truth. As a consumers, we don't actually need it unless it's food delivery. And today, companies are started to use their resources and power to educate people and to change their behavior and to push them to delay their delivery. For instance, they put information that about how same-day delivery will turn into unnecessary CO2 emissions, so the consumers can have a choice, like conscious choice. Or the company can push us to consolidate all orders during the week and get them delivered in a bulk, like in one day. So the efficiency of delivery these days is no longer about the speed, but the impact we make.
So, Anne, one of the things that in all of our discussions with Omnic over the last 12 months or whatever it's been now has been around this concept of collaboration, open networks. And so we're talking here now about achieving logistical efficiency, but also raising awareness about how consumers can reduce their CO2. So what are some of the other benefits you've identified in implementing such a system?
Yeah, there are indeed several other benefits to implementing a system into a collaborative way. And here are a couple of them. Like first, less stress and disappointment with predictable level of service. Because parcel lockers provide a consistent and reliable level of service similar to the certainty one might find at a fast food restaurant like McDonald's. You may not expect gourmet quality, but you know what to anticipate when you need a quick meal. Likewise, with parcel lockers, there is less stress and disappointment in knowing your package will be surely available when you need it. And second is time saving. Based on our collaborative work with UC Berkeley researchers, we found these people spend an average of 29 light days per year on the tasks of picking up something, dropping off some items. So imagine that by aggregating services into one parcel locker system, we can potentially free up almost an additional months a year for individuals to allocate this time to more meaningful and important activities.
That's a really interesting point about the amount of time people spend dropping things off and picking things up every year. I assume that children weren't included in that research because I don't think people should be dropping their children off at parcel lockers. But that's an interesting idea about integrating services into parcel lockers. We've talked about it previously in the industry, but then the e-commerce boom has sort of pushed that to one side. Perhaps as the e-commerce becomes less volatile, we'll be able to return to considering these sorts of things. Now, and earlier on, you mentioned about being at Post Expo back in, was it 2014? It's actually Parcel and Post Expo. We should get the name right. It used to be Post Expo for many years. Now it's Parcel and Post Expo. Now, is Omnic going to be at Parcel and Post Expo this year in Amsterdam?
Yes, we will be there. We see our mission to develop in the culture of parcel lockers, and that is why we want more people to get to know how beautiful, efficient, and convenient they are. So we welcome everyone to visit our 2 booths at Post Expo 2023 in Amsterdam. So see everyone at Post Expo and hopefully you, Jan.
Oh, I will be there. I'll be there Post Expo. Oh, I said Post Expo as well, everybody. -2 points for Ian for getting it wrong. Parcel and Post Expo 2023 being held in Amsterdam it's on 24, 25 and 26 October in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And Omnic will be there. Did you say you're going to have 2 booths there?
Yeah, actually right. Outside and inside.
Outside and inside. So there you go. Keep an eye out for or seek out Anne and the Omnic team at Parcel and Post Expo in Amsterdam later this month. Anne Snitko, Chief Product Development Officer at Omnic, thank you very much for joining us on the Postal Hub podcast today.
Thank you, Jan. See you soon.
Coming soon on the Postal Hub podcast, our friends from Kantar return to talk about, performance measurement, things like that. A very interesting discussion. Looking forward to sharing that one with you. Who else is coming soon? Friends from Copenhagen Economics return to talk about a very interesting European case study to do with letters and parcels and the internet and stuff like that, and many other great guests coming up during the rest of 2023. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, I really do suggest you do. It really makes me just feel warm inside when you do that. Subscribing to the podcast on your favourite platform like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, whatever tickles your fancy. Subscribing means that every episode gets downloaded to the device of your choosing, obviously. And what else? You can subscribe to my email newsletters. I offer a variety of them. There's the weekly one that comes out with each episode. There's the one that goes every day called the Daily Delivery Digest. And there are a couple of others that you have to hunt around and find. But go to thepostalhub.com. I'm making it sound very mysterious, aren't I? Go to thepostalhub.com and you can sign up for my email newsletters there. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, you can do that. Have a hunt around for an Ian Kerr who looks like me. How do you know what I look like since this is an audio medium? Good question. Can't help you there. If you want to email me about anything at all, for example, to find out what I look like, my email address is, I won't answer that kind of question, by the way. My email address is ian@thepostalhub.com. I'm Ian Kerr. Thanks for listening in, and I look forward to your company next time on the Postal Hub podcast.